Hello everyone, this is Spluff5 here, and I am recording the second episode of Thaumcraft for Dummies. Now, there's one more piece of world gen to cover before we get into tier 0. And that's this. These flowers here are called cinder pearls, and so I can break them, I'll quickly go into creative mode. They're called cinder pearls, and if you punch them, they give you blaze powder. Now, I've put these ones here. They don't naturally spawn in green swamps. They only spawn in deserts. But they only spawn on sand. But I had to show them. And I couldn't be bothered finding a desert. So they are an excellent source of blaze powder. Okay, let's get over to our testing area. Without falling into an unescapable hole. Fly. Stop. Right, this will be our testing area. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to create in Thaumcraft is called a wand. Wand of the Apprentice. And it is created just with one of those shards. It doesn't matter which one. A gold nugget. And a stick. Yeah, wand. Now, this doesn't really do anything on its own. You need other things to do it. Alright, one of the next things you want to create is you get a bookshelf, place it anywhere, it doesn't really matter, and right click on it with the wand to magic it, and it turns to this pretty floating book with purple particles coming off of it and things. So go and pick this book up, hold it in your hand, it's called the Thaumcraft, and right click it. That's the only way to create the Thaumcraft. Right, this is what the inside of the Thaumcraft looks like. Now, if you're not familiar with the research aspects of Thaumcraft, I'll explain it pretty quickly. These ones that are flashing are items that we can research, like we have the knowledge to research but have not researched yet. And you have to research them to craft them. If you know the recipe, like you've researched the recipe from the internet and you try to craft them, it still won't work. You have to research them. And then up here is all the stuff explaining what everything is. They've got all the world gens here, which I've already explained. Explains a bit about flux, the aura, aspects, and I'll get a bit into those later. Okay, so let's start with the next couple of items needed. Wait, let me just... Yeah. Right, the next couple of items. First I'm going to get this thing called a table. Now, tables are really, really cheap. All you need to do is just 2 wooden planks and then 3 slabs across the top. They're very cheap. What you do, now you have to choose a nice spot for this one, but I'm not going to since this is just a test world. So nice, put it in the corner of your room. Get your wand and go abracadabra on this one. And it turned it into this thing called an arcane work table. And you've got a crafting grid inside it. You've also got a slot for your wand and an output. You can just use this as a normal crafting table, even if your wand's in it, but it's mostly used for arcane crafting. And your wand sits on top when it's in it, and it doesn't when it doesn't. So yeah, that's actually quite visually cool. Yeah, and this is used to craft some of your basic crafting things. Right, the next thing you're going to make is, in fact, I'll make 2 spots for this. Right. Lava, not lave. Okay, and we also want some netherrack. And some flint and steel. Alright, so you can do this either way, it doesn't matter. Put lava in the hole, or put ever burning fire in the hole. Fire in the hole! It doesn't matter, but you need like some sort of heat. What the? How did that just happen? I really like it how you can punch netherrack and it will still break, like at the same speed as dirt breaks. There we go. Right, the next thing you need is a cauldron. And we are lagging, I think I know what. Decrease some of the particles. Alright. There we go, that's better. Alright, so place a cauldron over the heat source. Those bits were just so I could. Right there, those are all nice. Then get your wand in your hand. And right click on it with your wand. And it'll make these things called crucibles. And you can pick the crucible and the arcane work table back up with the pickaxe. Well, you have to use an axe for the work table, but use a pickaxe for these, and you can pick them up and they won't turn back into cauldrons. So you don't really actually have to put the cauldron over the water. You can put the cauldron over in the corner, turn it into a crucible, pick it up and place the crucible over the heat. But anyway, so that's what those are. And these are used for some kind of, for like alchemy and things, which I'll get into once I get further into Thaumcraft. Right, the next thing is this thing called the glass vial. And the glass vial... Oh, we changed the name of it, I think. Is it? I think it's vial now. No? Okay. What did he call it? Okay, it's glass vial. And one piece of clay plus 3 glass will make 8 of those. And these can hold water, but not lava. They're sort of like glass bottles, basically. In fact, they're pretty much identical to glass bottles. So just go find some water. Oh, there's some. Maybe they can't. They used to be able to hold water. Alright, they can't. No, they can't hold water anymore, but they used to be able to. Yeah, and they are used for this next thing, which I'll just sprint over to. Right, the next thing you need to make is called no, it's actually not called the research. It's called the scribing. These things, the scribing tools. And you make them with a glass bottle, a feather, and an ink sac, or a glass vial, a feather, and an ink sac. Or they do like run out of ink, so you can refill the ink with an ink sac. And it's night time, so I'll make it daytime. Okay. So that's what those are. I'll just get myself some of those. Right, scribing tools. So if you get 2 tables, move sheep. Right, put 2 tables next to each other before the sheep comes back. Then right click on one of them, it doesn't matter which one, with your scribing tools. I prefer to click on the one on the left because it makes the scribing tools face in an awkward position if you put it on the right. So, left one, right click, and it will make it into this thing, the research table. And it looks really nice. It's really high definition with the paper and stuff. Alright, open that up. Now, this interface looks really complicated, but it's really not. First things first, you need paper. Alright, you put paper here. Okay, the next thing you need is not a thing, but you need to, like, open your Thaumcraft. Alright, we have the different things that we're trying to research here. Right, there's blah, blah, blah. But as you guys might know from Thaumcraft 2, that is Nitor, because it looks like Nitor. That's Elementium. That's Enchanted Fabric. But this one and this one might look unfamiliar. Well, that looks like a gold nugget, but yeah. So, we're going to try and research Nitor. Now, you have to really think, what did Nitor used to do? And what does it do now, if you know? You notice, if I drag over any item, well, any vanilla item and any Thaumcraft item, some mod items work, but not all of them. You know, if I drag over it and hold shift, that's a caps lock, I hold shift, these little pictures appear up the top. And if you place one item in the research table, all the pictures in it appear here. Alright, so there's water, learning, because it's books, crops, because it's made out of sugarcane, corpus, because there's leather on the books, and animals, because there's the leather came from animals. So that's what is this bookshelf kind of is. That's the aspects of a bookshelf. Notice this little glowing thing by the beast aspect. That's because it's getting a little boost because of the sheep around, because sheep are kind of beasts. So it's getting a bit of a boost from them. And now the sheep have moved too far away, it's not getting the boost anymore. Okay. Now, I'm going to try and research Nitor. Now, what did Nitor used to have in it? Well, it's sort of lit up. You could place it and it was sort of like a torch. So let's try researching a torch. Right, let's put some torches here. And and we've got lights. And the reason it's being boosted is because of the fire. The fire lights up, so it's being boosted. Alright, so you think, okay, it had light in it, so let's research light. Now I got a research note, which means that light, or one of the aspects that's in here, if I was researching more than one aspect, is in this research. I have found something. Alright, then there's this. Cursory and thorough. Those are your two options. I use thorough, but you can use cursory. Cursory means you're more likely to keep your things you're researching, but you're less likely to actually discover something. And thorough means you're more likely to lose it, but more likely to discover something. Okay. So, say we keep researching it. You might have to research something more than once. We've got this little information panel thing here. And that's all in gobbledygook, so we can't read that yet. And we've got one obscurus. When you get an obscurus, that means that one of the aspects in the item you're researching is in this new item. So let's keep researching it. Now, we know it is light. Now, light is in the thing we're researching. And the thing we're researching, we do not yet know. But since we know it's light, I'm going to take out the torches and get some glowstone. blocks and put them in. The torches only had 1 light on them. Glowstone has 11. Well, it has 10, and then it's getting boosted 1 because of the fire. So it really has 11. And the more of an aspect it has in it, the faster it's getting research, obviously. Now, when one aspect has this little kind of glowy box around it, that means you've discovered everything you can about that aspect, and it's time to move on to a new one. Right. Now, we know it's Nitor now. It's giving us information that it's Nitor, but that's still all in gobbledygook. And when you discover an aspect, it uses up a piece of paper, by the way. Okay. No, it uses up a piece of paper whenever you get research notes. So every new discovery, well, every new research for a different item you do uses up a piece of paper. Alright, now you think, in Thaumcraft 2, what was Nitor made out of? Oh, it was made out of glowstone and redstone. So let's try redstone. Seems like a fair assumption. Right? Research it. Try a few times if you don't get anything. And you think, ooh! Now, you think, ooh, there's 2 of these aspects. There's really not. Once you get to a certain point, it's actually only 1 of these aspects. Once you get to a certain point, it shows you how many aspects there are. So there are 3 aspects in this one. And one of these, either the Machinia or the Potentia, is in the Nitor. So you think, which one? Well, Nitor is more of a power energy sort of source than a machine, so it's probably the power one. And it is. Right. And then once you get to the next point, it'll show you what that last one is. Notice how it's fire and there's no fire in redstone. So, what has fire in it? Coal does, because coal's sort of fiery. And also when you get to a certain point, this will translate. And this glowing flame seems to be fueled by magic itself. The number of uses for an ever-burning flame seem endless, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to produce much heat, though it could prove to be a steady source of light and energy. Yeah, and that will... Once you've got that, it's kind of easy to figure out what the last one is, because it says ever-burning flame, so it's probably fire. Anyway, so you research coal. And notice how coal also has the Potentia aspect on it. That is because, yeah, it just does. So, you can actually research coal and glowstone to get this. That's a good source. Also, if after a point, if it has more than one aspect, an aspect that's not in it will be grayed out to help you a bit. Okay, and we've got a discovery. And the colour of the ribbon of the discovery is determined by which aspect you researched first. So Nitor's one is yellow. Okay. This glowing flame seems to be fueled by magic, and it says all the stuff that it did on the notes, and then it also has what aspects are in it up the top. Now, just right-click this, and research complete, Nitor. And go into your Thaumanormicon, and it's not flashing anymore, it's solid, and if you click on it, it will tell you the recipe. It'll say it's fire, it's got, yeah, all of that, and it'll explain it. Now, to make this particular thing, what you need to do is it's got kind of this pot shape, and it's this 5 Vs. Alright. How this works is you need a bucket of water. Alright, you right click on a crucible with the bucket of water. It'll fill it with water. Now you just have to wait a wee while. And the water will start to boil, like it is now. These little bubbles. Right. Then what you do is you find things with the aspects needed. So what did we need to make the Nitor? We need 4 Ignis, 6 Lux, and 4 Potentia. Okay. Now, coal. Coal had both the Ignis and the Potentio, so that seems like a good source. So we're going to need 2 pieces of coal. And we needed 6 light. In fact, no, I'll keep that on. I'll get rid of those. So I think glowstone dust has a good amount of light on it. I'm not going to use blocks because the blocks have too much. If something has the right aspect but it has too much of it, try to find a source of the aspect that has a bit less, because using too much is bad. Right, that is 3, so 2 glowstone. 2 coal and 2 glowstone, that's a good source. Right, what you do is first you make it daytime. It doesn't need to be daytime, this will work at night. Right, you chuck in the crucible, you have to actually throw it. Like, you chuck in what you need. You have to actually, like, chuck it in. So now this has got everything it needs in it. You grab your wand and you right click it. And abracadabra. We have night ore. And we can pick it up. And we have our very own night ore. And you can place it and it will actually like burn like that. Okay. And that will use up 5 Vis from your wand. But your wand will recharge itself from the atmosphere around it. And later on, when I get into a bit more complicated stuff, I'll explain exactly how that works. But this has been a pretty decent episode. Is there anything I missed? Wait, I'll just open my book, because I have everything in it. Is there anything I missed? Not really. I'll cover that later. Yeah, so this has been Tier 0 of Thaumcraft. Come back next time to see Tier 1, where I actually tell you what all these things do. Well, we already know what the night ore does. It's a placeable light source. But there's also that stuff, that stuff, that stuff, and that stuff to cover. And also, I'll cover everything in Tier 1. So also this stuff and that stuff as well. Okay, signing off, guys. Bye.